Hey YouTube, it's TheHawkinator here. I'm very excited tonight. I'm going to show off a deck that a few people have been questioning about. Not a whole lot, but a few people. Um, you guys might already know what it is, but first, I'm actually going to give shoutouts, which is actually surprising because I normally don't give shoutouts. But there's a few people I want to shout out. Alright, first off, his name is Mini Shigemuru 012. He's a friend from Skype, lives over in England across the pond. And he's a really cool dude. He puts up with me. I help fix his computer problems, and he duels me. So he's a really cool guy. Go check him out. I'll probably put links somewhere in the video or in the underbar. Next person, EMPS Blade Knight 60. Really cool guy that I've met at regionals, and I've hung out with him a few times. And his friend Removal Master 101 again. I've met him too. They put up good stuff. They don't put up tier 1 decks, but they try and make decks, that you probably wouldn't see at a competitive level. And they try and do their best with them, which is, what the game is about, just having fun with that kind of stuff. So definitely check those guys out. And I am very excited to show this deck because I met somebody at my last regionals up in Sioux Falls, where I went 3-3, by the way. And his name is Silver Fang something or other. I forgot your name, honestly, but I'll put the link somewhere. And he actually did an interview of me. Like he sat down with me. I went through my deck. We talked about it, and it was pretty cool. So definitely go check out the interview if you want to see, I guess, what I look like, and go show him some love from me. Even though I don't have a whole lot of subscribers to send over there, but that's besides the point. And he actually liked my deck so much, that I guess he felt inspired and he tried to make his own version of it, which I thought was pretty cool that someone actually liked one of my decks that much. But as you know, this is my competitive deck. It is Rockstun, so I'm going to jump right into it. Then I'm going to talk about the card choices, how to play it a little bit, some of my few good plays, and definitely you're going to like this because this is obviously the most expensive Rockstun you will find out there. Like, you'll see why. So, yep. That's just the starter set colored. I like showing that off. So first off, 3 Quackimere Guardians. I actually went and got supers of these, so they look pretty good. Really good rock beater. And like I said, I'll talk about all these guys later. Got some German techno going on. Quackimere Wall, the newest addition to this deck. He's not hollow, sadly, but he gets work done. So we'll talk about him later. I'm just gonna, put these guys face down. And sadly, the only non-hollow card in this deck, I'm just kind of spoiled that this is the only non-card that doesn't have a lick of foil on him at all. Quackimere Sandman. The best rock in the game, in my opinion, Falsodynia Pachycephalo. You know what he does. He's a little older, but I think he's the best rock monster in the game. Neospatian Granmole. 2 legendary Jiu-Jitsu masters. I got super champion pack ones. I know I'm really cool. I like shiny cards. Just MVP of anti-meta in general. Thunder King Ryo. Man, I need to get rid of this glare a little bit. King Tiger Wanku. Another really good anti-meta card. Sadly, he does not come as a hollow, just as a rare. This is what makes the deck tick like a clock now. Triple Pot of Dualities. I managed to get my hands on some. I'm happy. And they're all first edition too. I don't know if you can tell. But I like, it's pretty cool. 3 Pot of Dualities, definitely an awesome card. 2 Book of Moon, Dual Terminal. I know. Nice. 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, Spell and Trap Hit. 2 Smashing Ground, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hold. So that rounds off the spells. For the traps, we're running a little less now because we have Pot of Dualities, but we still have our 3 Ultimate Solemn Warnings that I'm so happy I got back when they were 19 bucks each, and because now they're 50. Straight up Ultimates, 50 bucks. I love it. I can make 30 bucks a piece. That's $90 profit if I sold those. Solemn Warning. Royal Oppression, another rare that we have to put up with. Mirror Force, Dimensional Prisons. Yep, these are supers. 2 Bottomless Trapple, and Torrential Tribute. So that rounds off the deck. I'll flip through it real quick. Guardians, Walls, Sandmans, Fossil Dinos, Grand Mole, Jujus, Thunder Kings, Wangus, Pots of Duality, Book of Moon, Space Typhoon, Smashing Ground, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, Oppression, Mirror Force, Prison, Bottomless Trapple, and Torrential Tribute. Alright, so let's talk about these card choices. Alright, the biggest addition to this deck right now is Quackimero Wall. If you don't already know what he does, he rounds off this little trinity of Quackimero rocks that we have, where Guardian negates monster effects, Wall negates spells, and Sandman negates traps. Sandman is probably the first time you've seen... How the heck do I get rid of this guy? Alright, so we go up here a little bit. And obviously, I didn't show it, but when I went to Omaha, my biggest, I guess, counter against this deck was Bottomless Trapple and Dimensional Prison. Those would just ruin my day, make me a sad panda. So that's why I added Sandman in, and now I add in 2 Walls. The reason we only play 2 of these is because I guess the worst part about it is you have to tribute these guys. That's what makes them balanced, but it's also what hurts you the most with these guys, because you'll have a field full of Quackimeros, and then you'll just be tributing them off. So that's not how you play your Quackimeros. What you want to do is you want to establish control with the rest of the deck using your Fossil Dinas, your Jujus, and your Thunder Kings, and just everything else, and establish a good field. And then you start throwing down your Quackimeros to negate anything that they would to try and disrupt that control that you have over the field. And that's how I play the deck, and that's how I think the deck works the best. So you will never see me summon first turn, just summon a Quackimero, because I'm just going to tribute him off and then I have no field. So that's a bad first play, is just to summon a Quackimero without anything else. Don't ever do that, because then you will tribute him off, you have no field, and you'll leave yourself, vulnerable. Fossil Dino Pachycephalo, the best rock in the game. It's up to you whether you want to set him or summon him, if an attack, or if you want to set him instead. Depending, if I'm going first, I will just straight up, I will summon him out like this, just face up, and I'll put protection down, because this guy needs his protection. He's very small, he's very weak, and he needs plenty of protection in order to keep his no special summoning effect off. Now, say you top deck him and your opponent already has a field, that's a good time to set him, because most of the time if they have a pretty big field, they got there through special summoning, whether it be quick draws with plenty of dandy tokens and stuff, and synchros, or Blackwings with a full field of Sirocco's, Boras, and all that other shenanigans, or Sabres, with double full troll out in the field. I mean, you have to set this guy against those, massive monster fields. Then you'll destroy them all, and then you can establish your control from then. So that's how I play these guys. Gramel, he's just a king. The rest of these guys are just control cards. They help you get control over the game so you can start playing these awesome rocks. Pot of Duality, this is what really makes the deck tick. As you see, I've dropped the Deslacuda engine, not because it was bad, but because this is so much better. There's, the Deslacuda engine, it wasn't hard to get off, but it wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to get going either. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to get that going, because you have to set them and then you have to protect them, and sometimes you won't always have a card to protect them with. So you have to make sure that you always have protection with your Deslacudas. Where Pot of Duality, you do not need protection. You play Pot of Duality, you get a card. I mean, that's what it is. So that's why we've dropped Deslacuda over Pot of Duality. As everything else for the spells is pretty standard. One thing I would like, I've tried to fit in, I want to fit in another Book of Moon, and I want to fit in another Smashing Ground. But obviously the room is very tight right now. I mean, right now we're at 40 cards, and I believe that's the optimal ratio to have a 40 card deck with 3 Pot of Dualities. You will open it with it more than, you don't open with it. because you're either going to open with a Pot of Duality, a Thunder King Raiho, Solemn Warning, or Fossil Dyne. I mean, those are your key cards that you want to open with, one of those four. As for the spells, Solemn Warning is by far, I think, the MVP trap of this format. Just the ability to negate any sort of summon at all for 2,000 life points can really pay off in the long run. I mean, the most you're going to want to hit with this, oh, this is a good song, YMCA guys, is you're going to want to hit synchro summons, you're going to want to hit special summons like Geysirus or those guys. I cannot get rid of that glare. Or you're going to want to hit cards like Godham's Emergency Call or Rekindling, you know, just swarm cards. This is what you save those for. You're not going to use this just on a random summon. You know, you're going to save this for when your opponent makes big pushes with big monsters. So that's why you save these. Solemn Judgment, good. Oppression, you know, all these other traps are just good traps. Dimensional Prison is a really good trap. Still, even though there's a lot of trap stun and cold wave going around, Dimensional Prison is still a good trap. So yeah, that's basically how you play this deck. You open up, you get a little bit of control out there. You know, probably with a Fossil Dyna or a Thunder King, or maybe you're just setting a Juju, and you let your opponent, you know, start burning up some resources to get over those cards. And then pretty soon they won't have as much resources in their hands, and that's when you start dropping your Quacky Mirrors, you lock the field, they can't do anything, and you beat face, because these are all, what, 1900 attackers? So, I mean, that's what you do. You get a little bit of control, you get a little protection, your opponent's spending their resources, trying to get, you know, OTK you with their sabers and stuff, and then you just beat face once you have a field lock. So that's a little bit of an explanation. I'm hoping to get these guys a deck, or not a deck video, this is what this is, some dueling videos out there of this. It's really cool because I've met a few people on Skype, and I think there's going to be a local tournament starting up in my area, which has never happened before, so I'm going to definitely be hitting that up if they do. So I might be able to get more practice out there besides, you know, just playing random people on Skype. So that'd be awesome, you know. And that's pretty much it for this deck. I really hope it's not 15 minutes long. So thank you all for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Go check out the people I shouted out, and take care. You know, see you next time.